Hey, when I was a kid, I used to love going to Gladiator movies. I know, keep the jokes to yourself. Hey, nothing was cooler than seeing Spartacus and 300 Spartans and movies of that sort because they had incredible spectacle, they had great location stuff, they had sword fights, they had men who were men with muscles. Well, there's a whole slew of them ready to come out, and I guess that's thanks to the success of the movie 300 and Gladiator and even Troy, which was an international success, even though it didn't do that well in America. The first of this batch is called Centurion, and it's from the director Neil Marshall, who gave us the very scary horror movie a few years ago called The Descent, and did a mashup a few years ago, a sci-fi kind of Mad Max mashup called Doomsday. Now, Centurion tells about the battle between the Romans, who are invading the United Kingdom, and a group of people from Scotland called the Picts, who actually, I didn't know too much about it, but they were sort of a barbaric tribe. They spoke their own language, and the Romans, of course, were the great invaders ready to take over the world. Michael Fassbender, who's been getting lots of screen time lately, terrific in the movie Hunger, and he was also in Inglourious Basterds. He plays a Roman fighter who is left with a small group of soldiers to battle the Picts and to sort of save his king. Now, on the opposite side are these Pict warriors who will stop at nothing to defeat the Romans. They have very primitive weapons. They wear fur. You know, the Romans are all clad in armor and they have helmets. And it makes for some very exciting battle sequences. Oh, also, let me mention that the Picts, the leading warrior is actually a woman, and she's played by Olga Kurylenko, who was last seen in Quantum of Solace. She was a Bond girl in the film. I believe that's how you pronounce her name. And she's sort of this fearsome warrior, kind of like a Red Sonja type. So we have the battle between the Picts and the Romans. Now, what makes this film interesting is that both of these factions have their good and bad side. Of course, the Romans are the conquerors, so you're not necessarily rooting for them. They want to take over the world after all. And the Picts are these barbarians who are savage, primitive, kind of beast-like people. And each of them, you kind of root for both of them, you know, the underdog against the favored side, and you root against both of them because the Romans, you know, want to take over the world. So that's what sort of the gray area in this film comes in, and that's what makes it particularly interesting. Now, the film itself is beautiful to look at. It's got some very high production values. It was shot overseas, mostly British cast in it, as well as some international stars, as I mentioned, the Bond girl in it, and it is extremely bloody and violent. So there's no shortage of battle scenes, of bow and arrows, arrows flying through the sky, of decapitations. I mean, there's even an arm wrestling scene to go with the sword fights and everything else. So if it's over-the-top gladiator films that you like, this is a step back to the old times of Spartacus and 300 Spartans, and you will really enjoy Centurion. This is Movie Earth.